Hello everyone, my name is Jason. Thank you so much for watching. I want to take just a moment and kind of voice an opposition that I have to one aspect of MBTI, or something that I see as it pertains particularly to MBTI, and that is this idea of a type being the rarest type. So frequently I will see graphs, charts, whatever, and they'll try to demonstrate rarity of type. And oftentimes it shows INFJ, sometimes INTJ, as being the rarest type. Now, here's my problem with that. Not that I don't have a problem with them saying that this one certain type is the rarest type. I have a problem with them trying to say that any type is the rarest type, or even trying to say that the population is made up, this percentage of the population is made up of this type, or this type makes up whatever percentage of the population. It doesn't, in my mind, hold up to any kind of scientific scrutiny. And here's where I'm coming from. First of all, in order to be able to say that a certain type is of a certain rarity or only makes up a certain percentage of the population, you would have to know the type of a pretty huge representative sampling of the human population. I mean, how many people do we have on the earth? 6 billion. So what sampling is a reasonable sampling? 600 million? Maybe. Maybe if you knew the type of 600 million people, maybe that would be a representative sampling that you could then extrapolate out to the entire human population. But the other problem that I find is that it's based on self-reporting. And what I mean by that is we as human beings take an MBTI test, we take a personality type test, and we get a certain answer, and we say, okay, I'm this type. Well, first of all, those tests are only so good. And second of all, we ourselves skew the results by answering questions dishonestly. Now, we oftentimes don't mean to answer those questions dishonestly, but we see ourselves in a certain way in our minds, and that may not really be what we are. I mean, the person that we think we are deep in our mind is not always really who we are. Or we can also be sort of swayed by this idea of who it is that we really want to be. Now, I'm not saying that everybody does that. I'm not saying that no one ever gets the right result. All I'm saying is that the results of any personality type test are, suspect at best. And so you have people who are self-reporting their type. Many of them are going to be incorrect about that. And then on top of that, you really don't, I mean, how many people are we basing this on? I don't know the answer to that, but my guess is it's not a large enough sampling of the human population to really extrapolate that out. I do not believe that any one type is unbelievably extremely rare, making up only 1% of the human population. If indeed there are 16 types, then my guess is they're probably relatively balanced overall in how many of each type exist on the planet. Maybe not, but they probably are. Now, depending on what circles you run in or what group of people you bring in to your, let's say, scientific experiment, yeah, you may find that you encounter a large number of people who are one or two types, and you don't encounter very many people of another type or two. But that is often going to be because certain types lend themselves to getting into certain areas of life. Look, there are going to be certain types of people who enjoy taking personality type tests. And then there are going to be other types of people who do not. It's going to be all over the board in that respect. So if you were, let's say you're a person who is an engineer, right? And you hang out with people in your circle a lot, if you did that, you might be inclined to say, oh, there are a lot of people in this world who are, let's say, ST or NT. in their general bent. But the reality is there are plenty of people out there who are not. They just may not be in your circle. Well, it works the same way with the testing. First of all, certain types of people are going to be more apt to even take the test in the first place. And then I think the numbers get further skewed whenever we say things like a certain type is rare. Because the moment you say a certain type is rare, then of course people want to be that type, don't they? I mean, don't you naturally, or many people anyway, naturally want to think of themselves as unique or special or something different? So by saying INFJ is the rarest type, well, then everybody wants to be an INFJ. And that's just not beneficial to the overall cause of trying to get an objective, accurate picture of what type an individual is. And then the conglomeration, then, of course, of what type the overall population is. So in my experience and in my thinking, we just can't say one type is rarest. And so if you are a person who has sort of been going through life thinking, look at me, I'm the rarest type, that's so neat or special or cool or whatever. Look, regardless of what type you are, there are plenty of things about your type that are neat and cool and special. And there are plenty of things about your type that are messed up and cause you to have problems and make you a difficult person to be around. That's true no matter what type you are. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for us to sort of, have pride or brag about our type, especially to say I'm the rarest type. There's just no real good way to know that that is true. Let me know your comments. I'm sure that this will be a little controversial with some of you. I'm sure I'll have some disagreement in the comments, and that's fine. I welcome your comments, whether you agree with me or not. Thank you so much for watching. Do please like and subscribe, and have an awesome day. Bye now.